Are you looking for a way to scale your short-term rental business and buy more properties? Well, co-hosting might be the right fit for you. Welcome to the Co-Host Coach podcast with Joe Roney. This episode of the Co-Host Coach is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. If you're looking to buy a short-term rental, then contact the STR Savvy Agent team at savvy.realty.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Co-Host Coach. I am honored to have a friend, mentor, and one of the brightest minds in the STR space in Pani joining me today. So, how you doing today?
Good, brother. I appreciate the words. I don't know if I would identify with the brightest minds, but I do take the compliment, and I bow for it because, again, there is some brilliant folks in this industry. So I'm very blessed to be a part of it for sure.
There is, but you are a very influential person in this industry, and you've had your Short-Term Secrets podcast and mastermind for many years, and you have helped hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, find financial freedom. And that's a big part of what I wanted to have you on here today, is because there's a lot of people that are in this space that are either burnout or, we just talked about the short-term rental burnout, or they're just overloaded. They have too much on their plate and they're not putting those systems in place. But it starts with that mindset on what you have to do, and you don't have to do everything. So just want to kind of, pick your brain a little bit today and kind of how you approach business. So I guess real quickly, your short-term rental portfolio and kind of what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started STRs in 2010. I graduated college. I ended up working as a maintenance guy at an apartment complex. My mom and sister lived there because my sister, excellent tennis player, she played at the Chrissy Evert Tennis Academy. And so we were right next door to Chrissy. And so I got induced into the short-term rental world through accommodation for tennis players, actually. And then fast forward 12 years later, I now own the entire apartment complex. And in the meantime, I've grown property management companies, real estate team, and done all kinds of things under the sun when it comes to real estate. And what I like to tell people is my 9 to 5, it's real estate. So I buy hotels. I'm under LOI for an hotel now in Sardinia, where I'm from. But my passion is mindset. And that's what I coach for Secrets. And that's what I coach on my own one-on-one. And the reason why it's because in my journey has been the most influential part of it, right? The mechanics of things are always good to know. And it's where the majority of people decide to get started. But so many people that I've met sometimes know more than I do on the mechanics of STRs or the mechanics of real estate investing. And sometimes, dude, ignorance is bliss. And that's why they say it, right? When I started, I was 22 when I had the opportunity to buy this business. And Joe, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't have a family, I didn't have kids, and so I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. I was just scared. You're like, I don't, of what? This is the job that I've been doing, right? It's the same thing. It's just I own the business. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. And obviously you've built not only a great portfolio, but you've helped so many. And I think one of the things in the mindset part of it is that so many people that jump into this business are chasing that dream to make more money or chasing that dream to be more wealthy. But, and it's something that we talked about in the podcast last week, if you don't have the mindset and the spiritual and the health and the body and everything that goes into being a successful entrepreneur, you're just going to keep chasing and giving yourself more stress. And I think I see a lot of people in this space that are, and I'm one of them. I sometimes don't put the laptop down until it's way too late at night because it's one of those days and that it's a hustle day. And I see what you're building in the short-term secrets, and I'm seeing the types of businesses you're helping people build, that they're really building financial freedom, but more importantly, they're building life freedom to where they can, they have that mindset to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Yeah. And for me, that all starts with a choice, right? The biggest thing that I I realized with people, and I realized with myself as well, um, life really changed the moment that I realized that whatever I wasn't changing, I was choosing. Right. So if you're in this spot and you're experiencing some of the burnout symptoms that Joe is talking about, and yet you're not willing to do the things, you're not willing to. Sometimes Joe is to break down your business. Right. I had a conversation with somebody today. 86 properties in Spain. And she's like, it's not working. I'm like, yes, you got to break it. She's like, I don't want to break it. But baby, it's not working. She's like, yeah, but I don't want to break it. I'm like, then you're going to stay here.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's something got to give. Right.
It does. It does because, it's a grind. If you don't change what you're doing, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, right? So if you're going into business every day and you're not willing to change your mind and change what you want to do, and I think that's one of the things that I've learned in the short period of time that I've been in the mastermind is the freedom calls are probably one of my favorite, favorite calls, and I haven't been on as many as I want to be, but when I'm on them, I learn so much, and it really does go to mindset, whether it be you or Dave or whoever is running the calls. It truly does really change how we do business.
Yeah, man. Because I think so there's a couple of things that I use a lot when it comes to helping and supporting people. Right. One of those things that you'll hear me talk about a lot is what's your self image, and understanding also that your business has a self image as well. And so you're like, what does that mean, right? And the way that I describe self image is think about self image as the script of your life, and imagine your life is a movie. What you tolerate or what you have in that script, it's going to come to pass onto the big screen of your life. And so sometimes people are operating without consciously knowing what their self image is. And so a lot of the stuff that I work on with secrets and people in secrets is understanding, okay, first of all, what do you want? And if people are like, I know what I want, I'm like, really? Like, do you really know what you want? Like, if we go through the exercise of you answering why 7 times, right? You tell me, I want to make more money, and I tell you why. Can you go down 7 layers deep in that question to really understand what is the root of that? Then once you know what you want, who do you get to become in order to have it? Listen to how I phrased that, right? I didn't say who do you have to become, is who do you get to become? There's another big component of this hustle culture that I think people are putting on themselves, where they start living this life of I have to. You don't have to do shit, right? You are perfectly entitled to have an ordinary life, and that's okay.
Yep.
Right? An ordinary life, it's a good life, just have it. But if you want an extraordinary life, you gotta add extra to ordinary. There's no other way to do it. Yep. You get to work more. You get to create systems. You get to raise yourself as a leader. You get to do a lot of things, right? And then from there, it's like, okay, then what is the self-image that aligns to what I want and who I get to be? And then can I script that out for myself and live from that place every day? How does that guy walk, talk, dress, feel? Is he in shape? What does he drive? How does he spend his time? Does he work 3 hours a day? Does he work 6 hours a day? Does he work 8 hours on a day and 0 hours on the next? Write it. Right? Design it. Design every aspect of it.
I think that's huge, and I love what you said there. You said, I have 2 daughters that are one in college, one getting ready to go to college, and we were just touring universities, and it's always what do you want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? But I love the change in mindset of what do you get to do, right? Because when you word it that way, I mean it makes it it doesn't sound like work, right? When you say, what do you want to be? Well, I want to do this. But when you say, I get to do this, like you're excited about it. And I said this on the podcast last week. My favorite quote is, you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do, or if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And what you teach is, structuring your life to do what you love doing on a daily basis.
100%. And the understanding that also work is there for satisfaction, which I think is a concept that we missed somewhere along the lines, right? But if you look at, like, again, animals are abused and made to work more than they have to. But a working animal enjoys working. Have you ever seen a canine? Like, a canine is absolutely excited. He's so stoked. He's like, I get to be a canine, right? Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So work is there for satisfaction. The reason that you're not satisfied with your work is because you're doing something that doesn't inspire you. But as we said earlier, what you don't change, you choose.
Yeah.
And so if you're not inspired with your work, ask yourself, what do I want? Like, if I wasn't afraid of anything, what would I do? What would my day be like? As you're listening to this show, right? Maybe you're driving, maybe you're doing something. How different would your life be if you weren't afraid?
Yeah, because everybody's afraid of something, and it could be afraid of failure, afraid of not supporting, not doing the things that you want to do. I mean, there's so many different things, and fear drives us, the opposite way, right? It drives the mindset to, you have to do this or else, because you're worried about whatever it may be. And I think the second part of it is everybody thinks, well, money can fix everything. If I make more money, I'll be happier. But that, instead of being afraid of, not making it pay your bills, then you're afraid of losing money, right? I mean, if you don't have the self-image of the person you want to be, there's always going to be that fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's another thing, which is a very interesting concept. I think there's only two vibrations that you get to choose from in life. You've heard Tony Robbins talk about it. There's a bunch of people that talk about it. There is the vibration of love and faith, and there's a vibration of fear and lack. So when you put those two lenses on and you look at your life, asking yourself the question, am I operating out of love and faith, or am I operating out of fear and lack? Those two things cannot happen at the same time, right? It's the same element of, like, am I operating out of gratitude, right? Or out of fear, or out of anxiety. Those things cannot happen at the same time. And understanding that, like, it gets to be a conscious choice in the way that you look at things. And I think there's a lot of people that are under the assumption that character traits are God-given abilities. Well, E is great. You're confident. I wasn't born this way. That's a skill that I got to develop.
Yep.
Well, E, you always have positive mindset. You think I woke up one day and I was like, I am just irate all day. Like, I'm just a happy dude all the time. No, dude, it's a conscious choice.
Yes.
Right? It's a conscious choice. What I'll tell you is that over time, it gets easier as you continue to choose it, and as your self-image gets to start carving out the grooves of your personality, then it gets easier for you to choose love and faith over fear and lack. But just look at the people around you in your life, and you can spot it immediately, right? Is this guy operating from fear and lack, or is he operating from love and faith?
Yeah. I mean, it's powerful because so many operate on the fear side, and we're all guilty of it. And then what you just said about changing who you are is we all have a choice, and we can choose today to wake up and change our lives. And there is no timeline, there is no set thing like, this is the way I'm supposed to do life. Today, no matter where you are in the world, anyone who's listening to this, you can choose today to change your life for a better outcome. And it doesn't have to be through short-term rentals. It can be through whatever W-2 you're working for, right? If you love what you're doing, that's fine. It doesn't have to be in our space, but it's your choice how you wake up each day and how you see the day. In my opinion, that's really going to set the tone.
100%. And judging your life by your current situation, it's going to keep you in your current situation. So if your desires are dictated by where you're at right now, hey, you don't understand that where you're at right now is just that. It's just where you're at right now. And not where you're going to be for the rest of your life. It's nothing to do with you, right? But if you set your desires, so there's three main D's that I think about when it comes to this, right? It's what are your desires, right? So going back to what you want, what are your desires? From there is like, what are your decisions? Can you make decisions in alignment with your desires? It becomes a very easy test. Every day, you don't want to do something, you choose not to do something, or you choose to do something. Short-term rental, right? You got to do your call calls, or you real estate sales, you got to do your call calls. Why do you do them? Because I want to get more clients. Okay. Then make the decision that reflects your desire. And then from there is discipline. So can you discipline your decision making to reflect your desires over and over and over and over, no matter the result? Because the result is like faith. It comes once you have faith. You got to have faith. You got to do the work with the faith of knowing that the result will come.
Yep.
If you do a single day work and then you're looking and then you don't work for a day and then you do one more day of work and then you're looking and you don't operate day in, day out based on the desire, knowing that as long as you do the thing, you'll get whatever it is that you're looking for, even through long periods of times of the evidence of your senses saying, Joe, this isn't changing. And you're like, but I know I'm making the right decisions based on my desires. I don't know the gestation period, but I know that these are the right things. Can you have faith in the process? Can you be interested and involved in the process just as much as you're going to be involved in the prize?
Yeah.
Because if you only won the prize.
I agree. And that third D that you said, I think is the one that the people struggle the most. Like, we all have desires. Desires are easy to say, this is what I want, right? And the decision is hard, right? To make that decision, to take that leap, to take that jump. But the people that truly reach financial freedom, truly reach spiritual freedom, truly reach, the kind of person they want to become, that discipline, in my opinion, is the hardest one, because we all have 1,000 things we want to do every day, and we all get things, too many things on our plate, and the discipline of doing the things that need to be done to be able to make that life for yourself, I think is the hardest part. I talk to a lot of people. Obviously, I do some coaching similar to what you guys do, and I think the number one thing is I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have time for this, right? And that comes down to the discipline, in my opinion, because that is saying I don't have time, so I'm not disciplined enough to make the time. If you know what I think.
Yeah. And also that's a bullshit story.
Yes.
Right? Like, dude, it's just make a decision, have a desire, make a decision, and be disciplined to make the same decision for extended periods of time until you get the thing.
Yep.
Like, don't stop making the decision until you have the thing.
Yep.
Like, if the goal is weight loss and the goal is to lose 10 pounds, don't stop making a decision until you lose 10 pounds. which is not stopping at 8 pounds, it's not stopping at 9 pounds, it's not stopping at 9.5 pounds, it's stopping at 10 pounds. And I think people get satisfied with other things that are not the thing they desire.
Yep.
So lose 10 pounds this week. How much weight did you lose? 0. But, Joe, I painted my house, I organized my thing, and I did this other thing. That's great. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Well, I made progress. No, you didn't. If you're not making progress on the things that you say you're going to make progress on, and you're not making decisions that support your desire, and you're not disciplined in that, stop being full of shit. You didn't make progress. Enough. You're not making progress. You can fool yourself. You can make yourself feel good because you did the business cards and you did the things. If that is not the decision that you had to make, you're wasting your life.
I agree. And that really starts with mindset. And, a couple of things that I've done recently that, people have said, how can you do that? Like I've done a couple 72-hour fasts, and people are like, how can you fast for 72 hours? It's not hard if you choose that you want to do it, and then you just have the discipline to do it. 13 days ago, I started a 75 hard. I have a goal to get my health 100% back to where I really want it. And there was I made excuses for probably 3 months this summer because I have this event or that event or whatever it may be. And I finally said, you know what? I got to quit making excuses. If I want this, I just have to do it. And I made the decision, and now it's the discipline of waking up and getting those 2 workouts in every day and getting my 100 ounces of water and all the things that go involved in that. And it doesn't have to be business related. All the things that you're talking about, it's your life. It's everything in life. It's not just in business. And I think that's one of the things that people struggle with is all of this. It's everything.
Yeah. The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. And it's not what you choose that counts. Everything counts. Right? Like, really, like, hear what I just said. Everything you do counts. It's not just what you think should counts, and the stuff that you're like, I know I didn't have integrity in this area of my life, but don't look at that. I'm doing great over here. No, it doesn't work like that. Everything counts. And so again, quit the bullshit. Like, if you're wanting to change something for yourself, you made the desire, you have the desire, you made the decision that you're going to change something for yourself, just do it. And the only thing that matters is the result. Nothing else matters. Like, we are in this feel-good society where you're like, the thing matters, the intentions matter, the results matters, right? And like, I've come from a journey of like choosing to be gracious with myself and cutting myself some slack because I didn't want to be so hard on myself. And now there is understanding is like, I get to be disciplined, and that doesn't mean that I'm hard on myself. It's just, I am determined to create the things that I want to create. And I'm not willing to not. And so if you hear this, why not you? Right? Like, if you see the people doing the things and having the money and doing the 75 hards and doing the marathons, and you're like, how do they do it? Why, instead of how do they do it, why is the question, why not me? Why not me?
Yep.
Why can't I grow the business? Why can't I have the millions? Why can't I fly in a PJ? Why can't I have the body? Why can't I run marathon? Why not me? These 2 dudes here are not different than us. We're all human. Like, it's all the same things. It just, some people don't tolerate the bullshit.
Yeah.
And some people do.
Yep. You've built obviously an amazing life, and this summer you got to actually spend it with your family, overseas, which was really cool. And we had connected a few times while you were over there. And I mean, how was that feeling? Like, one of the things that really hit home to me is when we were on one of our first calls is you said, I I'm managing 40 properties, whether you're co-hosting or self-managing, and I turned my phone off for that flight and I didn't have to worry about anything, right? Because you've built that life that you could take that time and not have to be in the business 24/7. So, how was that this summer, and how was your summer out there?
My summer was lovely. It was a dream for a long time. And it's going to happen every single summer now for the rest of my life, right? Because again, it's all part of my self-image. Um, and I loved it for so many reasons. One of the biggest thing was getting to spend a lot of time by myself and reflecting. So there is this Latin word educo, which means to draw out from within, and is the root word of the word education, which kind of shows you where our education system kind of went wrong, right? Like
Yeah.
now we just shove things into people's mouths and minds. But it's the concept of like asking myself. So the same thing that I just kind of share with you is what I went through this summer. I was like, okay, what do I want? And really allowing myself to spend time figuring that out. Because again, I got there an accomplishment, right? Spending 3 months at home is something that I've wanted for a very, very long time. And yet, as I was there, I was like, okay, now what? I'm 36 years old. What? What else do I want? Because there's this other thing is like once we build the businesses, that's not it.
Yep.
Like nature is in a constant state of growth, and so are you. We are mission-seeking organisms. And that's why a lot of the times when people like build companies, sell them, and then they just rot because they don't have that vision, right? They don't have that thing that they're going after.
Yep.
So I was like, amazing. I am super proud of myself for having built this business that allows me to be here. And I also know there is more. So, what more do I want to create? What more do I choose to create? And now, who do I get to become? And then I just spent literally 2 weeks rewriting my self-image script. And I was just like, okay, now this guy, how does he feel? Right? How does he dress? How does he look? Since summer, I've lost 44 pounds. Why, Joe? New self-image.
That's huge. And I
Going
see,
back to the movie, right? Like that's all. That's all I did.
yeah,
Self-image change. 4 months later, right? June 1st, got there. I was 119 kilos. Now I'm 98 kilos, right? Nothing else changed. My workouts have been the same. Maybe a little bit more mindful with food, but it's just like the self-image of who I am as a person changed. And my life changed.
I think that's huge. And kind of what I'm going through. I'm going through a little bit of the self-image, right? I've spent, a good chunk of my life a little bit overweight, not, super heavy, but not fit. And that's why I started the 75 hard. I didn't want to wait till January 1st, 2026 to have a New Year's resolution this next year. It was, I need to do this for me today. And
You get to.
and I get to do this today because and when I get to 2026, I can say I'm 30 pounds lighter and I'm healthier and I can, go skiing or go whatever it is and not be, worried about stuff. And it's the self-image that I'm trying to create for myself. My wife's been working really hard on herself as well, and we do things as a team. And it's everything. It's life, business, family, personal, all that. You got to spend a lot of time with your family during your summer and which was obviously amazing. And everybody has that choice. Everybody has that choice to build the life that they want. And I think, we've found it in the short-term rental space. And there's a lot of people that are listening that have found it as well in the short-term rental space. And they're building, the same thing or building something similar that works for them. But I really think, your mindset really has helped me kind of revolutionize the person that I want to be or I get to be, as you stated, because it's going to be a better person than what I am today or what I was 3 months ago. And I'll say the second part of this that I wanted to chat about on is there's so many people, like, we were born in an era where our family said, you go, you work your 9 to 5 for 30 years, you save a bunch of money, you get a pension, maybe you get a 401k, and then you get to live on $3,000 a month for the rest of your life. And it doesn't have to be that way, right? You can shape the life that you want to be and get to be who you want. And I like to say people that are looking forward to retirement go to retirement to die, because that's what I view retirement as. Like, I want to wake up with purpose every day. That doesn't mean I got to hustle like I've been doing lately, but I still want to wake up with purpose. And I think that's what you're talking about. Like, what's next for you? So that's my question for you. What is next for you, right? You've built this amazing life. What does that next level look like?
Yeah, it's a lovely question. Dude, I'm just getting started. There's a lot of really big things that we're doing with Secrets. I've cast this very large vision for myself in terms of building a hospitality brand of hotels around the Med. So this first one that I'm working on is the beginning of that vision. And then I'm working on elevating my game in all arenas of my life. And one of the things that I shared, I had the honor of running the event for the boardroom group a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that I talked to them about was the concept of, what is your purpose in life? And there's a lot of us that hide in other people for purpose. So for those of you that have kids, that's a pretty easy one, right? Like, a lot of people are like, my purpose are my kids.
Yeah.
Then you get married, like, my purpose is my spouse. And so my question to you, or like, you want to get healthy, and my purpose is, like, I'm running this marathon, and then the marathon ends and there's no purpose, and then you go back, right?
Yep.
And so my thing to myself is, like, my purpose is to just find out how much I got, right? Like, how much can I do? How healthy can I be? How big of a business can I grow? How many people can I impact? How many people can I help? And that's the decision, the desire that is leading every decision that I'm making. Is that it's like, okay, what's the greatest version of E doing right now in this moment? And understanding that relationship with courage, and that courage is not a you have it or you don't have it thing, is to what degree do you have it in this moment? So there is a lot of you that are courageous enough to quit the job, but then you don't have courage to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
You're courageous enough to have the conversation and go out to meet with the first property owner, but you're not courageous enough to do it over and over and over and over and over until you get the desires you want. And so that's another big thing that I'm tracking for myself right now, is how courageous am I to that? And understanding that as long as I continue to be as courageous as I can be in that moment, and I consent to the ideas that I receive, right? Am I willing to be used to my highest level to bring forth the ideas that I have? Because ideas become wants, and then wants become goals. A goal is just a want that you actually want. But the thing is that a lot of the times we go from idea to want, from want to idea, from idea to want, from want to idea, never translating into a goal.
Yep.
And then a goal becomes a desire. And once a desire becomes a burning obsession, so that's the only thing you get to think about every day. You wake up and you're like, it's there, right? This hotel in Sardinia is that for me, right? It's just like every day. I wake up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, laying there to fall asleep, I'm thinking about the hotel, right? I'm at the chiropractor is running late. I'm there. I'm like thinking about the hotel, right? And it's just like, until a goal becomes that in your mind, it's not going to create itself in your life. But what I tell you is that anytime I've had the courage to become obsessed with something, I've always had it. And so that's what I'm working towards. It's like, do I have the courage? Am I willing to give myself to these ideas that I have? Am I willing to sacrifice myself to the greatest good, to the greatest degree of who I can become? And that's, I think it's going to be the game of a lifetime, because it's going to evolve and grow. And then the question is always going to be there. How courageous are you? Once you have the thing, right? Once you quit the job, once you have the financial freedom, do you have courage to go past that and see what else is there? Because the moment you stop growing, you start disintegrating. It's one of the laws of the universe. You can't help it.
Yep.
Right? No matter how wonderful, beautiful something is, that's why you need money. Money is there to maintain things. Money is a tool to maintain things. Because if not, what happens? Nature, that is on a constant state of growth, will grow back and take it. So it's not like, is this a law that works for the whole of the universe? Absolutely. So it works for you because you're just a spirit in the universe. So the same laws that apply to nature apply to you. So if you're not growing, you're dying. But you have courage.
Yep.
Continue to grow.
One of the things you said there, you know, towards the end of the other part was love helping people achieve those goals, and then, helping them, factor in what their life plan is. And that was, I think, one of the things, when I joined Secrets, that was like week one of instruction. Like, you got to write it all out, and truly write it out, right? There's so many people that say, okay, these are my goals, these are my desires, and they keep them here. But when you write it down on paper, it makes it real, right? And I think there's power to that part of it. And I thoroughly enjoy helping people, right? And the second part of that you just said was, the people that truly want it and the people that are going to overcome. But then you talk to so many people, and I get phone calls all week long in the short-term rental space of people that want to buy their first short-term rental, right? So obviously that's a big part of what I do, is helping people buy short-term rentals. And there's so many of them that they're so afraid. And I'll have my conversation. I'll tell them what it takes, because I'm very open and honest. Like, this is what it takes for you to be successful. This is what I'm going to need from you, because I don't want to just sell you a house to sell you a house. And there's a lot of people that don't call back because they're not ready. They don't, their mind's not there. And so it's weird for a realtor to have that kind of conversation with a investor, but that's the kind of conversations that I have with investors, because I don't want to be the kind of person that just sells someone a house to be transactional. I want to help them change their life. And what you guys have done at Secrets is changed so many lives. There's been people that have been my mastermind that have joined your mastermind. I've joined it. I see people that are just, whether it be in your coaching or what you guys are doing over there, that are completely transforming who they are. And many of them are coming to you with zero experience. Like, they don't even own short-term rentals. I mean, and I think the mindset calls that you have is probably a big part of that. I mean, I guess that's one of my questions is, the people that come in that are in the short-term rental space to the people that come in that want to grow co-hosting businesses that are just kind of taking it on, is that one of your biggest challenges in the mindset on the newer people, or what do you see there?
I don't think, well, I don't think that it matters where they are, right? It just is the same, because it's an issue that you can have regardless if you have properties or not.
Yep.
It's just, again, it all has to do with willingness. You can have the life that you desire to the degree that you desire if you're willing to do the work. And a lot of the times the work is just for you to stop doing the things that you've been doing. It's not even doing anything extra. It's actually for you to stop doing some of the stuff that you've been doing. And one of those things is just the inner conversation that you've been having with yourself. I just need you to put it on pause for the next 60 days. whatever the inner chatter is, if it's not in alignment with your desire, I just ask you to just put it on pause. And if you're like, 60 days, 60 days. Anytime you have a negative, fear-based, anxiety-based thought about your future and what you're doing, reframe it. Just for 60 days. Because if you do it, when you do it for 60 days, you're not going to want to stop. Because you're going to understand. And if the majority of people tell me, well, I understand you want me to live out of my imagination, right? You want me to imagine this different life. But I'm not good at imagining things, right? Like I don't have a good sense of imagination. If you're saying that to yourself right now, right? And you listen to this and you're like, yeah, that's me. You're full of shit.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. It takes just as much mental capacity and power for you to imagine a bad scenario than a good scenario. It takes as much power for you to live in fear than it does to live in faith. Both of those two things require you to believe in something that is not here yet. And yet you tell me I can live in fear and I can be anxious and I can have worst case scenario imagination about things. But if you tell me to imagine the good life, the business thriving, the money in the bank, the time with my kids, the time with my spouse, the traveling, I have a hard time imagining that. But then if I ask you, can you imagine worst case scenario? All of you are like, oh, absolutely. Let me get started. Let me tell you all the ways this can go badly.
Yeah.
That's the same, like you're using your operating system in both cases. Just one is fear-based and one is faith-based. And if faith and God is not a conversation for you, please don't close your mind because I'm using the word faith.
Yep.
Right? Like faith can be in yourself. Faith can be, in a tree branch, like whatever faith looks like for you.
Yeah.
It's a concept that you get to live through. Have faith in yourself, right? If you don't like God, if you don't have a relationship with him, have faith in you. But those are your two arenas. And it takes just as much to live in faith than it does to live in fear. So choose faith.
And I mean, you have to, and to be successful in life,
You get to.
Yes, you get to. You get
Mhm.
to be successful in life because you have faith in yourself. You believe in yourself because when you have that self-doubt, when you do those things, that pessimistic side of you comes out, it's going to prevent you from winning. And, my wife and I have always had the mindset of any business we went into, we are going to be successful. And sometimes we're going to swim, sometimes we're going to swim faster. There is no sinking, right? You can't go into it with a a sink or swim mindset of, well, if I sink, I sink. No, it's okay. Sometimes I'm treading water. Sometimes I'm swimming really fast. Sometimes I'm having to go against the current. Sometimes it's with me. But you have to have that mindset of being able to win, and it starts with that. It starts with not having that fear, and I think that's one of the hardest things that many people, non-entrepreneurs, have a hard time seeing do what we do, and that's what they always say. It must be nice, but you ask anyone that has that pessimistic side and they have that fear-based side, and they're never going to take that leap.
Mhm.
And it takes you have to have faith in yourself and what you're doing to be able to take that leap and take that jump to start whatever it is. You have a new hotel, but that doesn't matter. From when you started back in 2010, you had to take that leap.
Yeah. But Joe, the new hotel is a product of faith.
Yep.
Faith, just like confidence, is not a God-given thing. It's something that you get to develop once you choose to develop certain patterns of thinking. Again, guys, like anything that I talk about has been self-made. Like all my beliefs that now serve me well are all beliefs that I chose for myself. The faith to go after things, not knowing where the money comes from, not knowing where the things come from, the how, it's none of my business.
Yep.
Faith will show me the how. All I get to do is I get to choose. which desires, so idea to want to goal, goal to desire, which idea am I consenting to? And then I don't quit until that idea is seen by my five senses. Simple as that. So if you want to quit, you can absolutely quit once you have it. Because I guarantee you that the moment you're winning, you're not going to want to quit.
Nope.
You want to quit now because you don't have it. And you don't have a gap in faith between now and there.
Yep. And I think the last mistake, and we'll, close up, is people have that shiny object syndrome, that you said it earlier, changing goals. Like, you do it, then you go back, and then you do it and you go back. But if you're chasing shiny objects, you are not actually going after your goal. You're just chasing, and you got to put in the work. You have to put in, believe in yourself and put in the work to achieve goal number one. Because if you didn't make it to goal number one and you're chasing the shiny object over here, you're still going to be chasing. And there's so many people that have come either through my mastermind or people that I've met in this industry that are still chasing that shiny object. They're going from, I want to do co-hosting, now I want to own, and now I want to sell real estate, and now I want to do this, and now I want to do that. And they keep chasing these different shiny objects instead of just focusing on the goal that's going to get them to the outcome that they desire.
You want me to share with you why that happens?
Yeah.
Because once you start doing something, you understand how terrible you are. And most people quit. Not understanding that this is just the natural cycle of learning.
Yep.
So understand that the moment you start doing something, you're going to grossly estimate how bad you are at it and how long it's going to take you to get good at it. And then there is a little moment in between that you get to realize, you have a come to Jesus moment where you're like, oh man, I am terrible at this, and this is going to take me a long time. And then you fall into that valley of despair where you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this. Most people in this moment change idea. But the only guarantee that I have for you, idea changer, is that you're going to start the cycle over. Because you're going to go to something else that you're going to think it's going to be not as difficult. You're going to be better at. Get in it, realize that you are terrible at it because it's just the nature of doing things. And then you're going to go in the valley of despair. And then instead of holding on and knowing that as long as you continue to get better, there's going to be some things you get better at, and then you'll know what you're not good at. And then eventually you reach mastery. You continue to go from the valley of despair back to the drawing board and start over. And then you gift yourself the same cycle over and over and over. Because you're not willing to commit to mastery. Day in and day out, 10,000 reps. Give me 10,000 reps. You'll be a master.
Yep. None of us started out great in business. Nobody just wakes up and says, I'm going to do this, and they're great. It is the grind. It is the learning. It is making mistakes, and you're going to make a bunch of mistakes along the way. Every single one of us. People talk about, people that file bankruptcy or have businesses go out of business, or even our president who's had multiple failed businesses, but we all fail. Every single person fails at some point, and you got to pick yourself back up and just keep plugging along and then go back after that goal, because you are going to fail. Every single person that's listening to this call is going to fail at something that they're doing, but that doesn't mean you have to change your goal. You just have to find a different way and become an expert. I tell people, if you want to be successful, you have to become the expert. And reading books, listening to podcasts, talking to people like you, doesn't matter what it is. Put yourself in the room with people that know more than you, and you're going to learn and become an expert.
And you get to become the expert.
Get to become the expert. I'm going to keep working on that. So I'm going to work on it.
That's a daily practice, man.
It is.
There's no ifs as well.
Yeah.
There's no tryings also. As Yoda says, do or do not, there is no try.
That saying is literally above my laptop in my office. It says, do or do not. There is no try.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of two pictures that I have hanging in my office, and it's true. And I've said it. I coached softball for years. I've done obviously lots of different businesses, and I've said that. I say it all the time, and people laugh at me, but it's true. You know, it's just like saying, you think you can, or you think you can't. You're right. Period.
100%.
So, Maddie, always great nuggets. I'm going to probably get off this in a few minutes and write down like 5 things that I learned today, because every single time I have a conversation with you, I come out with, different things that I'm reevaluating myself and thinking about where I am in my business and my life, and saying, okay, I need to make some more changes. And
Yeah,
it's that choice. And we all grow as people, and we grow as entrepreneurs, and we grow as husbands and wives, and whatever it is. And it's all, like you said, it's all a choice. And I'm going to write down a few nuggets that I learned today. This might be one of the few podcasts that I actually go back and listen to a couple times, because, man, every time I'm around you, I learn new things. So I appreciate you coming on this week. I am
you having me.
looking forward to seeing you in person, I believe, in Boston in a couple weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'll be there.
So I'm super pumped about that. Obviously they're as part of the mastermind, but also Savvy is going to be representing there. Some of the other team members with me are going to be there as well. But just a really awesome community. I think this is the first big event in the Freedom Factory.
Yeah, new office. Yeah, we're really excited. If you are in the boutique hotel space, we have another one right after that, November 15 and 16, that we still have space for. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me on Instagram. We'd love to have you. But Joe, thank you for having me on. And I gotta give you flowers, man. Every time I talk to you, your commitment to your growth is evident in your results. So you're exactly what we talked about, right? Like, you go out, you learn, you study powerful information, you study yourself, and then you study yourself against that powerful information, and then you make adjustments, and you're willing to make adjustments. And that's why your success has been what it's been.
Yep.
So you deserve the flowers for that as well.
I appreciate it, man. And thank you again for coming on. If somebody wants to join Short-Term Secrets or get you as their personal coach, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm epani.realestate, and I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. And if there's something that we can do to help you, I'm excited to talk to you about what that could look like.
If you're not following E on Instagram, make sure you are, because the reels that he posts, I every single week I see something new, and I stop and listen anytime it comes across my feed, because I'm like, all right, there's something good coming out. He's got something, some nugget, and I enjoy it. Sometimes they're 10 seconds, sometimes they're 60 seconds long, but always get some great nuggets out of that. Thank you so much for being you. I am super proud of you. You have built a really great business, and I love the amount of people that you're able to help and grow, and you're putting yourself into so many others. And I think that is absolutely wonderful. And I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person for the first time in 2 weeks.
Likewise, man. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys for joining me this week on the Co-Host Coach. I will see you next week.